Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers, Season 5, Episode 5. This is our Rime of the Frostmaiden season, and tonight the episode is entitled The Adamantine Fortress Part 4. This is the fourth and final episode in the Adamantine Fortress arc, where we have been exploring where Fig has been during his after his disappearance. And we will get to that with a recap in just a few moments, which will hopefully sometime in there in the next little bit. Dan will be joining us. And in the meantime, welcome everyone. We are going to hit you with a few announcements to get us started, and then we'll go into the recap, bring everybody up to speed, and then we'll start playing some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. Well, first off, I want to draw your attention, as usual, down to the lower left-hand corner of the screen, where we've got some icons of our partners and sponsors. First and foremost, of course, is Jasper's Game Day. Mini Terrain Domain is a proud sponsor of, our partner rather, with Jasper's Game Day. In fact, I think Jasper's has some events starting tonight, running through the weekend. They're doing a New Year event. So be sure to check them out on Twitch. Follow Jasper's Game Day on Twitter to see where all of those games are taking place. But you can type at any time. You can type !Jaspers in the chat. That'll bring up a link where you can donate to that incredible organization that is dedicated to raising awareness, education, and ultimately the elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. Another way that you can support Jaspers while getting a little something for yourself is, of course, to type !Coffee in the chat and get yourself some of that Metadare roast coffee. It is a delicious medium roast coffee, personally selected by Big Bearded Nerd Dwight and I to represent the brand. For every 12-ounce bag of Metadare roast coffee that you buy, $3 of that is going to go directly to Jasper's Game Day. Be sure to check out Talon and Claw. You can type !MTD Claw in the chat to get a link to Talon and Claw's Etsy shop. Talon and Claw, just among some of the amazing things that they make are these incredible dice vaults in a variety of woods with custom laser engraving available. You can hold a full set of dice in here. Their hero vaults hold 2 sets of dice and a couple of minis. There's DM screens, all kinds of wonderful stuff. Whatever you pick out for yourself, use code MTDClaw at checkout and get 10% off your order and help support the channel in the process. I want to say, as always, a shout out to D&D Beyond. And because it's been a while since I've shouted her out, I'm just going to personally mention their community manager over there, Lauren Obo Crazy on Twitter. Lauren has always been very helpful when we've had any troubleshooting we needed done, and just in granting us insider access for the channel. And we are super appreciative of both Lauren and D&D Beyond as a whole. I manage all of my D&D games using D&D Beyond, using the encounter builders. You can mouse over the screen and you can see what's going on with these characters, in fact, with the D&D Beyond overlay. So check that out. I need to also draw your attention up above V and Not Dan's heads, where we have domain dice. I'm actually going to go in. I'm going to make a change because there's been, let's see, we got a raid. We got Cajun Kevin and Cole Sparks of resub. So that's 3 plus from when Dwight was producing. I need to update this total. So I owe you 23. So Dawnbringers, This is ridiculous, and I think this is a new record. Ridiculous in a good way. Dawnbringers, you have 183 domain dice. Just with your domain dice hoard, I think you can win the game right now. But domain dice are, of course, all of these domain dice are there because of you, the viewer. Subscriptions, resubscriptions, raids, tips, cheering bits, all of those things. There's some information going across the screen at the bottom. I think somebody just put the chat command in that tells you how the domain dice work. And what's really cool about the domain dice is it gives the Dawnbringers this sort of Avengers style heroes, because they can re-roll anytime they want using domain dice. They can spend 2 of them and make me re-roll. All the way up to the Patron's Blessing, which is spending 5 domain dice to turn a hit into a super critical. That's double max damage. And several of the Dawnbringers have done so during major fights. In fact, I know Ted and at least 1 or 2 others have used 10 domain dice to turn smites and paladin strikes into these like 3-digit massive hits, and it's just been epic. So the last thing I want to talk to you about before we get started with our game is where we do this before every game, and for very obvious reasons, I think it's important to bring this up in particular today in light of recent things that are going on. Mini Terrain Domain has always been, we've made it our goal to be very open about mental health discussions through things like our support for Jasper's Game Day, but also just in trying to destigmatize discussions around mental health, being very open. I've been open since I sought out a therapist and have been seeing a therapist on a regular basis. I just had my therapy appointment yesterday. And boy, am I glad I did. It's good to have somebody to talk to. And we realize that in the best of times, things can be a struggle. But for the last year, between a pandemic and civil unrest, everything going on I'm not going to go into the details. You know what's going on in the world. Things are bad, and it can be a struggle. It can be really taxing on your mental health. And the thing that we want you to know above everything else is what we say every week, is that you matter. No matter what is going on, no matter where you are, whether or not you believe it, you matter. Your presence here on this planet makes a difference. And we want you to know that. But you might need to talk to somebody. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to struggle. But it's also okay to reach out and get some help. It's okay to admit that you need to talk to somebody. And that's why we've made it so that you can come here to Mini Terrain Domain any time of day or night, whether we're streaming or not, and you can type in !help. It'll also pop up periodically in the chat. It'll show up along the bottom of the screen as well. We've got the National Suicide Lifeline. We've got Canadian tech services, as well as Canadian suicide prevention services. And we have a hyperlink that you can go to, that is www.opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. And that has resources for wherever you may be in the world. It does not matter what country you're in. You can go there and find what your country's or region's hotlines and avenues of seeking help are. So please do not hesitate to use those resources to get the help that you need. With that, we are going to escape into our fantasy world of Faerun, and we are going to play some Dungeons and Dragons. In this latest arc, the Adamantine Fortress, back during the Dawnbringers exploration of the Heart of the Nightfang Spire, Fig, the Clockwork Wizard, was having periodic moments where he was somewhere else. He could see and hear through somebody else's eyes. That culminated at a most inopportune time when Fig disappeared. A portal opened up and Fig fell through the floor into who knows where, and a mysterious stranger, Githyanki, or Githzerai. It's been a while since we've seen Gerithan. Anyway,
Githyanki, that's the worst insult. Can't believe it.
Right? A Gith appeared in place, not knowing how he got there or why he was there, but he has been accompanying the Dawnbringers. The Adamantine Fortress is us now going. We've been exploring where Fig has been since he fell through that portal. Fig found himself in the Underdark outside an Adamantine fortress, hovering over a crystal field. Upon arrival, also encountered several other clockwork entities. Jin, the clockwork fighter monk, Phalos, the clockwork artificer, Eve, the clockwork rogue, Fig, of course, being the clockwork wizard, Bark, the clockwork druid, and Asclepios, the clockwork paladin. All of them received a message in their head that they were to protect Fig at all costs, and have been doing so as they fought some incredible creatures in the crystal fields, after which the fortress allowed them entry. They began exploring the interior, finding many references to Fig himself, as well as his counterpart, his sister, if you will, Figure 3, Archimedes, as well as his creator, Figure 1, Copernicus. They began to traverse through a clockwork maze, navigating large gears, scything blades, magical traps, and whatnot, until Fig reached out to grab hold of an emerald gear and found himself transported into a mysterious location where he began to remember his awakening in the drowned laboratory of his creator. During which time he was able to move through a window in this area into a large cavernous library, and just as the rest of the clockwork entities had discovered a vase, emerald vase, they were also transported to this very large library, and mysteriously, Fig, who for a very long time has had Archimedes' brain gem, this sort of very large and valuable gem that seems to be the core of their existence, after defeating Archimedes in Saltmarsh, Fig picked up this brain gem and put it inside his own head alongside his own brain gem. And Archimedes has been talking to him as they've been moving through the Adamantine Fortress. But now, as everybody has appeared in this vast library, where Fig has also encountered what appears to be his creator, Copernicus, another entity walked in from the shadows, and it was, in fact, outside of Fig's head, it was Figure 3, Archimedes, who said, "Can somebody please tell me what in the nine hells is going on here?" And that is exactly where we are picking up with this. So as the rest of the clockwork entities appear around you, Fig, and Archimedes appears as well, and Copernicus stands before you. What would all of you like to do? Fig in particular.
Sorry, give me 1 second. My computer just like crashed, but didn't. Like I'm still here, but everything is frozen. So
Oh no.
just give me 1 second. Sorry.
Okay. All right. The rest of you, you've all were in different places nearby when you were transported.
Do we have a clue who this character is?
You've seen their likeness in the Grand Hall when you entered the fortress. And Fig may have explained, I think Fig did explain who it was.
Bark is pretty dumb in regards to retaining information. So would I be able to make an insight check to see whether there's, like, when you say, like, what the hell is going on? Do they look like they're about to instill violence, or is this more of a informational type scenario?
Sure, go ahead. Roll me an insight check.
So that's a 17.
There's a familiarity to these figures, but you're not sure exactly how you know them. The one who just walked in is their posture and everything about them. They seem like they look like they could punch anybody. Not anyone in particular. They just look like somebody with a very large chip on their shoulder. And then the other figure that looks, for all intents and purposes, this new figure and Fig look identical except for their heads.
Okay. Well, the person who looks like they're ready to punch something or could punch something, could I put myself between them and Fig?
Yeah. You absolutely can. Do you need to reboot or anything? That's fine if you do.
I think I'm okay. I just don't have access to my character sheet right now because my Google isn't opening. I don't know why. But other than that, I'm okay. Sorry.
You might need to access your character sheet tonight.
Yeah, I have the app.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go into that, I think.
Okay.
And hopefully that works.
Sounds good.
It's very, very strange.
It's perfect timing to happen right as we're about to start playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Technology's nice that way.
Yeah.
So Bark, yes, you absolutely can maneuver yourself, just sort of shifting into position to kind of put yourself between them and... Are you trying to interpose between them and Fig, or them and everybody else, or
Just between them and Fig, and like I'm not trying to like go and stand in some kind of battle pose, but we were told to protect Fig, and that's what I'm going to make sure happens.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a nice, mechanical owlbear next to me, so that should hopefully be some kind of extra leeway if need be.
What about Asclepios?
So I think it's probably pretty apparent that Fig is injured. Is it not?
Fig got pretty banged up on your way here. More so than anybody else.
Okay. So I think Asclepios is going to move over to Fig, kind of in this momentary lull, and is going to extend his hand out towards him. And as he does so, more of these red kind of crimson colored ribbons come out of his, like the gap between his forearm and his wrist, and start to wind their way around some of Fig's more grievous damage, I guess is probably what it would be. And as the ribbons kind of go around these different wounds, and then retract. Asclepios himself actually takes on that damage momentarily to himself before it then slowly dissipates. I'm going to use Lay on Hands
Okay.
to heal some of the damage. I can do up to 55 points, Fig, so I don't know how much of that you might need.
I could take as much of that as you would like to give me.
All right, so I'm going to give you 50 points, and then I'll sit on the last 5, just in case.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Eve?
Eve's going to take a look around the room and just sort of, her eyes that normally glow that really bright blue are dipping into a violet, almost red, and both of her arms are going to shift into scimitar shapes, and she's going to be at the ready to attack this thing in front of Fig.
What? Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Me?
Yeah, just we'll have for now just you.
Okay, so that is going to be 13.
Okay. And Jin, what about you?
We're in a kind of library, right?
A very massively large library. It's an incredibly you're in what could be considered a grand hall. There are on the edges there's chairs and tables, but there's just stacks of books that rise high into this vaulted ceiling that looks like it's more than 100 feet tall, and there's books everywhere, scrolls, documents, everything.
If possible, given the kind of configuration of everyone, I want to try and kind of slip back and off to the side and kind of move around and hide amongst the bookshelves and try and gain a vantage point on this figure just to be ready to attack from hiding if necessary.
In order to do that, you would have to move approximately 40 or 50 feet. That's how far away from you the book stacks are to the sides. So you're just going to kind of wander away?
Yeah, I'm going to try and slip out of sight and then move to a point where...
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
I can. And I will, as I do this, I'll put my hood up on my cloak, which should give me advantage on that stealth check.
Sure. And while doing that, go ahead and you can either just say it or put it in the chat. Oh, 22?
Yes.
Okay, you begin slipping away, just sort of nonchalantly, hood up, and starting to move away from the group. And then Phalos has... the last thing Phalos did before you all moved in here was to alter his... the benefits of his artillerist feature, providing a buff for all of you. And then that brings us back to Fig.
So Fig is in this library, and sorry, was it Archimedes that is here saying what is happening?
So Archimedes had just said to you, it's been a few weeks, so since we did this, so I'll remind you that Archimedes had appeared. Before you saw Archimedes, you actually realized that you recognized this library and you knew all of the books, all of the words, and every scroll, every book, everything about this place was familiar to you. Archimedes appeared and basically said that he was glad you were here, and this is when and where you had to be for in order for you to remember, in order for you to come to terms with who you are. That's pretty much the last thing he said to you before Archimedes showed up and sort of interrupted a little bit. So,
I think Fig would kind of put up a hand to Archimedes. Do you not know this place?
I do know this place. I know it, and you know it, and that is why I want to know what is going on. How is it that we are here? This place is supposed to have been sunken into the ocean.
That is a reasonable point. And turn back to Copernicus. Why are we here? This is not here, is it? We are somewhere else.
The figure once again does this thing that you saw it do previously, which seems to be counter to the mechanical nature of it. Its face, Copernicus's face, seems to move organically, as once again his face turns in a smile. Fig, you are beginning to understand where you are and why you are here. Do you think that this place is a figment of your imagination? Do you think that it does not exist? Look around you. You know this place. You know every one of these books. You know all of the experiments. Well, you know almost all of the experiments. You know everything. Look around. Look at J1N over there, sneaking towards the shelves, as if I can't see him. He's about 20 feet away and apparently just sort of stops when he hears his name. Look at Eve. Veritably shaking with the anticipation of being able to strike me down if necessary. Asclepios, there to heal you and keep you alive, just as you designed him. Bark, well, that was your doing. And he looks over at Archimedes.
So Bark just, kind of, as, the whole avian head just kind of does that turn to the side thing as all of this is going on.
Even Phalos here. You and I worked on Phalos together. Fig, give me an insight check.
Yeah. Fig is not the most perceptive or insightful, but this is a little strange. A 16.
As he begins telling you this, all of these things, they ring true. They ring more than true. They seem to be sparking memories. As he's talking and telling you these things, he begins looking, or you sort of look around the room, and you see, like memories, you see at various tables within the library, you see the forms of all of the clockwork entities around you laid out on tables, and more, many more, as you work on them. Sometimes it's you and Copernicus, sometimes it's just you working on them. Everything seems to be working, like moving at a like hyperlapse speed. As this view sort of shifts around, you see scrolls being pulled down, figures laid out on scrolls and blueprints, and throughout all of this, as you're looking around and remembering all of this, you see the form of Figure 3, Archimedes, infrequently appearing, and occasionally working on her own off on the side, and ultimately only creating the one automaton, Bark. And even then, you know that you and Copernicus had to give Bark that final spark of life because Archimedes abandoned the project. You also notice that as you kind of complete this, looking around this vast library, you notice that at various times Archimedes, while you and Copernicus are on one side of the library, Archimedes is on another side of the library, occasionally grabbing scrolls, always up to something. You're not sure what all of these memories mean, but they confirm that at least what Copernicus is saying is true. Evie, you discern in your readiness, trying to figure out what's going on. You can hear very faintly as you hear the ticking of a clock.
I think Fig pauses, and he's kind of looking around, kind of just taking all of this in. He pauses for a long time. If we worked on this, all of these things, for so long, and you are here, why was I fished out of the water? Why did you let them take me? I thought I was alone.
You thought you were alone because that's the way you wanted it. You wanted to separate yourself from this place, from me, from Archimedes. In order to bring yourself to this point. Now, admittedly, you could not possibly have known that this is exactly the circumstances in which you would find yourself here. But you knew that the only way you could find yourself to where you are, sort of in the grand scheme of the microverse, the macroverse, the multiverse, is by removing much of your memory and knowledge. By then, Archimedes had already left. Does none of this... Do you not remember any of this now?
Does this conversation bring back memories of him leaving, like similar to the memories brought to him making the constructs with Copernicus?
I'm gonna say this. There is something something about what he is telling you that makes sense. I'm going to leave that up to you to determine, and we'll kind of go off of that. How are you processing what he's telling you? I want you to parse this information, but I will tell you only that there is truth in what he is telling you.
I think perhaps Fig is trying to see the vision of what had happened closer to the time that Copernicus said that he separated himself. He's trying to see those moments, and I almost imagine he hears voices and he only can see shadows and hear very muffled voices, as if this was something that perhaps he wanted to keep the most buried, the most abstracted from his mind. So try as he might, he can't parse out the specifics.
I want
he
you to
tilts his head, and you can see.
Go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
He tilts his head from back to forth. You can see that he almost begins to shake. He's trying so hard to bring this memory forward, but it remains distant. Oh no.
I would like you, Fig, to go ahead and make a you tell me what skill you would use. I don't even know how I did that. I wasn't even paying attention to how I was moving them. I was trying to do it nonchalantly, and I looked over and I did it nonchalantly, and then I drew attention to it. Anyway, Fig, I would like you to tell me what skill. Now you're going to be attempting to push past this mental block. You tell me what skill you're going to use and how you're going to use it, and then I'll have you roll.
So, okay, I immediately think Arcana, because I think with something to remove these memories, Fig must have done something, or that's what Fig thinks. He is literally trying to find maybe that little kernel of magic that has blocked this from his mind, almost like trying to remove just like a bit of dirt, and that dirt is like this spell that's covering, that's making hard to see the plaque or the window that lies beyond.
Okay, go ahead and give me an Arcana roll.
That is a 28.
So with that roll, three things happen. Because you rolled so high, and the first thing that happens is you do exactly what you were trying to do. You push that obfuscation that was blocking you. You clean it. You clear it. You figure out now. It's like you couldn't have done this before. Now with the information you have, he gave you just the right information to trace through these neural pathways, and all of a sudden everything becomes clear. Two things are going to happen, and then I'm going to begin to tell you what you remember. The first thing that happens is there is an audible sound of a very large switch or lever being thrown into place. The faint clicking, ticking sound of a clock that Evie could detect suddenly goes, all of you hear this kathum. and a very audible ticking of a clock begins to take place. You alone, Fig, and though you can tell Archimedes and Copernicus from the looks on their faces probably also know this. For the moment, you alone know that you have not only unlocked your memory, you also tripped a safety switch that you yourself had installed. That there is a alarm system, essentially, that has been activated, and you will have to deal with it. The second thing that happens, at the same time this thing clicks over, Jin, Phalos, Evie, Bark, and Asclepios, all of you involuntarily have a sort of a seizure, as if you just touched a live wire. And for a moment, Evie, your lights in your eyes go out. Any of you that have any illuminations, any of that kind of stuff, it goes out. If you have magical abilities, you temporarily, for the briefest moment, your connection to the weave of magic vanishes. If there's anything that any of you were concentrating on, that would be broken in this moment. So you would have to reactivate that. I don't know if that affects you, Dan, with Phalos. I know you did a buff in the last session, but I think that was a you did it and it stays in place, not a concentration effect.
Yeah, I don't think I had any concentration spells up. I know I had the cannon.
When all of you experience this jolt, as you come back to, you all remember that this is where you were created. You remember Fig and Copernicus as your creators. Bark, you remember Archimedes as your creator. You remember that one night, after a period of time that you're uncertain of, that Archimedes stole dozens and dozens of you and left the Adamantine fortress. Fig, you would of course know in realizing this that these stolen clockworks are ultimately what made up the crew of the dreadnought that she sailed the seas with. You know for a fact that Hermes, your own Hermes, is actually one of the ones that you created here in this library/laboratory. The last thing that you remember, the rest of you, the third thing that happens, all of you have memories of this in the sense that you were witness to some of these conversations. Fig, you remember that this place here, the fortress, has been here for a very long time, and that you were created by yourself. You realize in this moment that Copernicus, you, and Archimedes are three pieces of a whole. You are the mind. Archimedes is the spirit. And Copernicus is the heart. You were created as clockwork representations of a once living being. You were created here in this laboratory, first as the heart, and then through Copernicus, then created you, figure 2 Prometheus. And you put that soul into the third figure, Archimedes. You remember the struggle of trying to create these entities from scratch to contain these 3 elements, knowing that there was only one way that they would be stabilized in any sense, and that is by separating these 3 pieces. But that the heart itself became unstable. And when the heart became unstable, the spirit became restless. And as the heart became unstable, that's when Archimedes began to rebel a bit from the previous organization and spent less and less time with you and Copernicus. As you're experiencing these memories and realizing these things, you're sort of working backwards a little bit. You're beginning to understand that you are one of 3 parts of what was once a whole. And you're thinking on this and trying to work your way back towards some truth that is there. For a moment, I want to pause, and I want to give you, Fig, and the rest of you a chance to react to what you've learned so far.
I think Fig needs to sit down for a second. I think that is, for him, a lot of information to be confronted with at once. The whole idea that he wasn't, but also was created. I think he would just sit in the closest chair just for a moment, just kind of put his hands on his head, like on his side of his head, and just slowly process everything. You can hear probably the gears begin to whir and move, and this is this only sound you would hear from him for the first few moments.
What about the rest of you?
I think Asclepios is probably still near Fig from where he had healed him. So as Fig goes to seat himself down, Asclepios' hand just kind of doesn't really leave Fig's shoulder where he was touching him, as Asclepios is also kind of numb, taking in this new knowledge, this new realization. And then he looks down at Fig and he says, "You made us? I have so many questions. Why?"
I am processing, is what Fig says back.
Hold, please.
Buffering.
Yeah.
Restarting for updates.
So Bark was, probably taking a lot of this in, from what they were talking about, and then with the convulsions and the all of a sudden having this knowledge, he's just gonna be shocked. He's not gonna say anything, but he's kind of looking back and forth, not only between the 2 of them, but the rest of the group as well. He's clearly confused by all of it.
Evie?
So you're telling me this is some sort of family reunion? Shiny, happy people holding hands? Literally?
You could say that.
So why keep us outside of the fortress?
It was important that the information herein be protected. We couldn't have you running amok inside without knowing who or why you were here.
Doesn't that overcomplicate things? Nor do I run amok.
The overcomplication of things, well, we would have you believe that it was... We would tell you and ask you to believe that it was a necessity.
Necessities are rationalizations.
It is more than a rationalization. It's
He's stuttering, knock him
and
upside the head.
he seems a confused look comes over his face. It's not and he kind of looks over to Fig. We can't get through the last piece yet. Your security system must be disabled. That's where the last piece lies. Archimedes has been growing increasingly agitated. But first, Jin, what about you during all of this? In this revelation?
As he kind of was away from the group and then, of course, was spotted, he was just kind of standing off. And as this comes to him, he kind of slowly falls to his knees. And he's just locked in a stare at the ground. He takes his sword off of his belt and sets it before him, and is in this kind of meditative trance, clearly shaken, not really knowing what to make of everything. He's just trying to meditate through the thoughts.
As you move into this meditative position, Archimedes speaks up. You know exactly what is going on here. And apparently, so do you, looking at you, Fig. Why aren't you telling them?
Big raises his head from his hands. First, we must unlock the last piece to get all of the information.
The last piece. The security system.
Fig just nods.
You did it. After I warned you not to do it, you went ahead and did it anyway.
It made the most logical sense at the time.
Archimedes turns and storms off, walking about 30-40 feet off to the side, not even having to search, going directly to a very specific shelf and reaching high up and pulling out about a 3-foot-long scroll. And she comes marching back with the anger, just like holding it in her fist, like, this is the thing that I'm going to show you. As she marches over, and then she turns it around. She doesn't need to see what's on this scroll. As she unfolds it, unfurls it before all of you, and it stretches out. You see a drawing for you, Fig. It's reminiscent of the drawings that you originally saw of you and Archimedes and Copernicus. But this one has the figures of you and Archimedes and Copernicus as small figures down in a corner to represent scale. Because the rest of this scroll is taken up by a very large clockwork dragon.
Nice.
And you remember, you don't yet recall, it's blocked, what it was exactly, that last bit of information. But you know that it is in the heart of this clockwork dragon. All of you hear that continuing sound, mechanical sound of the ticking clock. And you hear it. And then nothing. Copernicus looks around at all of you. I'm terribly sorry that it's coming to this, but this is what you wanted. Figure 3 Prometheus. As he takes a step back, he only takes a single step back, and all of you begin to hear from all around the library as books and scrolls and documents begin flying off of the shelves. All of them seem to be coming in behind him and sort of rotating and hovering around behind Copernicus. And then you see, as in the matter of seconds, hundreds upon thousands of books they're open, dangling from their spines, scrolls and documents fluttering in the breeze as they begin to rise up from behind him, sweeping out into wings made of documents and paper. And Copernicus himself, you see from his shoulders, as the shoulders and these long, thin copper appendages shoot out, and as they do, and begin weaving through the papers, threading through them like a spindle, piercing pages, forming massive dragon wings. And Copernicus himself begins to... It literally grows double and double again, as each time taking a step back, growing heavier and larger, and you realize that it's a good thing this library is as big as it is, as what appears to be a gargantuan copper clockwork dragon stands before you.
Fig just calls out, "We need the heart."
Of the dragon?
Yes.
Of course you do.
I doubt it's just going to give it to us.
Would you give someone your heart? Literally, not figuratively.
Just no.
Then we go and get it.
You
Scorpius is
hear.
already,
Where did it go?
he's already drawn his sword and shield
Oh,
and
scimitar's
is
already-
rounded.
Yeah, you also
towards this
hear
creature.
a shing of a scimitar being drawn, and then you see from beside you this as flame just engulfs the blade that Archimedes has just drawn. Archimedes will be fighting alongside you as we roll for initiative. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. I am actually going to use my copper D20 to roll for this copper dragon. All right, that's going to be...
I mean, I rolled my medal and it was very good to me.
Okay, let's go with Fig. What did you get?
13.
13?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then... Oh, shoot. I need... Forgot to roll for Archimedes. What's that number? Oh. So that's... I have a lot of D&D Beyond tabs open right now. Evie.
24.
Wow. Bark?
You can tell it's not Thorgarn because it's a dirty 20.
All right. Philos.
6.
Okay. And Jin.
Roll a nat 1 for 6 as well.
All right. What?
No.
So tomorrow I'll take my turn.
And Asclepios.
An 11.
All right. All initiatives are accounted for. Start the encounter. Evie, you're up first.
How far away is the dragon?
I'm going to say it's within 15 feet of you all, except for Jin, who is 25 feet away.
Well, okay then. I'm going to go up to said dragon and theoretically look at my character sheet. Maybe there we go. Something going on with the interwebs tonight. I'm going to use my scimitar arm and start slashing.
Just scimitar. I love it.
Scimitar arm. So that is going to be a 15 to hit.
Sparks fly as you strike the metallic dragon.
All right, so we know that doesn't hit. And then I'm going to... sure, I'll just hang out there. Distract.
Okay. Bark, you are up next.
You said that the room is quite large, right?
Yeah, it's large enough that the central area that you're all in is about 80 feet across. You're sort of in the central area, and the room is about twice as long as that.
And what about height?
Over 100 feet.
Okay, so I could conjure a storm cloud above us without a problem.
Absolutely.
All right, then I will cast Call Lightning, and at the same time, command Bait to go attack.
Okay.
So he can make a Dexterity saving throw.
Certainly can. That's going to be a 24.
All right, well, that's certainly gonna pass. So I think it's safe for half.
Yep.
Oh, that's 10, 19, 7, 30, so a whopping 15 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
I doubt a 12 is going to hit.
It is not. There's just this almost feeble puppy-looking owl bear that's basically just going at the dragon. Is that it?
That's it.
It is now the dragon's turn. The first thing that the dragon does is you watch as one of the large tomes that makes up its wings, of all of this parchment and books and things that make up its wings. One of the tomes breaks loose and seems to fly on its own in front of the dragon's face, and you hear coming from within the depths of this dragon, you hear
Consacratur Aravisingilit Seduyusimo Tempor.
And the book bursts into flame. The ashes fall down to the ground, and all that's left is this glowing yellow orb of light and it just floats over and hovers in the air about 5 feet above all of you. And it just sits there. It is Archimedes' turn. Archimedes is going to immediately cast a spell as she makes a sweeping motion with her flaming scimitar, and she utters some arcane words, and you see this warbling mass of energy go flying out as she casts Chaos Bolt at the creature. That's going to be... somebody roll for her for me. That's going to be 2d8. Oh, first roll a d20. You got to make the spell attack. Anybody?
I rolled a 15.
Okay. A 15, so that's going to be a +6 with the spell attack for a 21. The Chaos Bolt strikes the Clockwork Dragon. Now roll 2d8.
7.
Wait, don't add them. What are the two separate totals?
5 and 2.
I mean, yeah, it is adding them, but sorry, it's been a while since I've dealt with Chaos Bolt. You add them, but you also have to know what the separate numbers are. If one is an 8, then it also replicates. But yeah, 7 total plus roll a d6.
5.
Okay. That's going to be 12 points of lightning damage dealt to the dragon from the Chaos Bolt. I would also like you to roll me a d20. Straight up.
11.
Okay, no wild magic surge. All right, there we go. All right, Fig, you are up.
So Fig suddenly remembers that he got some nifty spell scrolls at one point. And I imagine he pulls one from his from his arm, a compartment on the other side where his wands are, and he pulls this scroll and he throws it at this this dragon, and it lodges within the books, so much so that it almost looks like it's nothing more than part of the dragon itself, except you see sparks begin to form on this scroll. And soon it starts to flame, and with it, the books, the scrolls around begin to flame as well, as he uses his scroll of immolation. So it must make a dexterity saving throw.
$27.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get you to roll that again.
2 domain dice down. We roll that, becomes a 13.
Yes. Excellent. And I believe that whoops. That is under the save DC. So he's going to take full damage, which is which is going to be a large number. Sorry. 30 points of fire damage. And it is now burning. It sheds bright light in a 30-foot radius. And at the end of each of its turns, the target it has to repeat its dexterity saving throw, and it will take an additional 46 fire damage on each failed save, and the spell ends on a successful one.
Except that when the fire hits it, the wings begin beating, and almost immediately the fire courses through all of the parchment and papers in the wings and is extinguished, doing no damage.
Oh no.
As it uses one of its legendary resistances.
Okay. That's my turn.
You have... It seems to, as you look up at it, Fig, with this just anticipation of this massive damage, and then you see what it does, you swear you see a smirk on the copper dragon's face. Its wings don't stop beating, and I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw as it's using a legendary action.
If you are within 10 feet of me, you get a +2.
That will not be Evie or Bark or Jin. They are all outside of the 10 feet.
I'm also spending a domain die.
Okay.
I'm also going to use my evasion to take half damage if I don't succeed. Ooh,
20 for Mark.
I spent 2 domain die, and I still only rolled an 11.
Whoops.
Sorry, am I making a saving throw?
Yes, you are making a saving throw.
Why?
And is that the owlbear as well?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
It's a 20 for Eve.
Okay.
It's going to be a 15 for the creature.
What did you end up getting, Jen?
A hot 11.
And Phalos?
I burnt a domain die for a 21.
Hold on, I gotta figure out where we are here. So
I don't know. I'm not confident that'll make it, but
Asclepios, what did you get?
Best I can do is 12, Chief.
And Fig.
Just a reminder, there are things above my head.
Fig got a 19.
Lots of them.
Oh wait, what's the bonus we get from Asclepios for protection too? All right, never mind. That's a 23 because you said I'm in the 10 feet. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, 23.
Everybody but Phalos fails. You all take 16 points of bludgeoning damage and are knocked prone as the dragon flies 40 feet into the air. Technically, even though it's a legendary action, it is leaving your area of attack. So that will be an opportunity attack for Evie and Bark. Did you run up on it?
No.
But White did.
Owlbear did, though.
Owlbear did.
So with the owlbear there, does that help out Eve with her sneak attack?
Yep, it's an ally.
Can I use that on an opportunity, though?
Yeah, if you yeah. It's a hit. I mean, if it's a hit, then yeah.
I need
You
to
can
get
use
some
it once a turn. Doesn't matter whose turn it is.
Yep.
All right, cool. Then I'm using it, and I'm using my Muse dice. Damn it! Stay nice to me.
I'm going to assume this 17 doesn't hit.
A 17 does not hit.
Okay, so then still working with scimitar. It's a 25.
25 to hit?
Yep.
That is a hit.
Sweet. Okay, then that is going to be.
Look at the chat.
But for
look at the chat.
What? I don't have the chat. Oh my god, my sheet chat.
The
I want you
Twitch
to burn a
chat.
bunch of dice.
B Dave. Well, actually, Staffin and B Dave are saying to super crit sneak attack.
Super crit? Oh, okay, sure. Oh crap! I have to math all of that.
You just gotta roll the dice and then. You don't even have to roll the dice. Just how many dice and modifiers.
I have.
What's the
66?
Okay, so that's 36.
Okay.
Plus your regular damage maxed out.
Okay, so regular damage. The regular damage maxed out is another D6. That's 6 plus 5 is 11.
So 11 on top of the 36 would be 44, 47.
Holy
yeah.
crap. Okay.
So that's your max damage?
Apparently.
So then that's 94 points of damage.
Hi, how you doing?
Aren't they fun?
Oh, they're fantastic. I've never used
I know
them
technically
before.
that works against me, but if chat's rooting for you and they're the ones that are giving you guys the domain dice, I want to make sure you see that.
Because I was looking at my sheet, not the chat.
What?
There are no sides here. We're telling a fun story together.
This is true.
Before the others go, I want you to describe what this looks like as this dragon lifts off, and you have to quickly kind of jump up and slice at it, and you do this massive amount of damage to this thing. What does that look like?
So I can almost see it like she almost crouches down, and then you can see the back of her calf muscles, what would be muscles, sort of open up, and you see these very tight springs that retract in and then release. And in doing so, it almost pushes her up into the air, and she's swinging her scimitar, as we're calling it now, across the front and slashes backhanded motion, slicing deep and through, and still keeping a cool, calm, collected expression and the neutral bright blue light eyes.
That's incredible. I 100% see this as a moment where cinematically the music and the sound effects all just go with this anime style, and you see slow motion the dragon rising up, super wide shot. Hold on one second. The stream just went. I don't know if I lost the stream or not.
It couldn't handle the awesome.
Apparently not.
I broke the stream. I'm sorry.
I see spinning circle on my stream.
I see spinning wheel of doom.
She super critted the stream. Yes,
I
you
crit
hit the
the
monster
stream.
so hard you broke the game.
Don't crit the
itself.
streams.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Do we still have Jake here?
I'm
Yeah,
here. Can you
Rose.
hear me?
Okay. You look like you
Yeah.
were frozen,
Uh-huh.
Nick. I was like,
No, I'm
Yeah.
wondering because I don't know if we're streaming or not. I can't see anything on the stream.
Our internet might have dipped because I'm getting a
Wait.
big lag
Maybe
in the
we're coming
call.
back. We coming back? I don't know. Things are happening on the stream. Like it's like
Trying to
frame
catch
by
up.
frame.
Might have to take a break and then
We come
re-narrate
back.
that.
They said it's buffering.
It's buffering. I mean, it is 10. Take break coming back in 10.
Wait, what is?
Spot. Oh wait. Hi. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Can you see us again, internet?
Back now. They can see us.
Yeah,
Yay!
I'm showing a red line. Looks like we might have experienced an internet dip. So I will narrate. Finishing my narration of your epic scene, and then we are going to cut to break at that point. So yeah, the anime style, the dragon, and there's just this slow motion, wide angle shot as it's flying up into the air, and we see you just like you said with those springs in your legs, and you just and that scimitar. There's just a close up, a flash of light, and the scimitar is in a different position. And there's this sort of, as we see just an arc of oil and arcane energy and hundreds of tiny gears and springs and fragments of copper where you sliced into this thing. Because I don't want to lose the momentum of this. There were, I believe, 2 more, or at least 1 more opportunity attack from Bite.
yeah, bait missed.
Or bait.
So
bait missed. Okay.
17 missed.
So, with that, as Evie just sort of lands back down, that scimitar kind of out behind you, and the dragon has gone up, we will pick up with Asclepios' turn when we return from the break. And let's all just hope that that little glitch there is all we have to deal with tonight. But we are going to take a 10-minute break. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in so far. And, of course, to all of the wonderful folks who have subscribed and the earlier, the raid and things like that, providing the domain dice as they are, once again, I was going to say at a reasonable number, but it's like 173 domain dice. But perfect use of the domain dice. We will see you all in about 10 minutes. Be right back.
Yay!
And we're back. And as Evie lands in a 3-point landing with the scimitar behind her, and there's the metallic sound of copper fragments and gears that land around her. It is now Asclepios' turn. As a reminder, the dragon is now 40 feet above you and about 5 feet above everybody's heads, sort of in that central area, is this glowing orb of yellow light.
I think seeing that Asclepios can't reach this thing right now, instead, with shield and sword still drawn, he's going to begin uttering a prayer to Ilmater, asking that they be able to withstand the coming torment, the coming issue with fighting this creature with a brave face. And he is going to cast Bless. I think that gives me 3 people. Yes, 3 people. Okay, so I'm going to give it to Fig, Evie, and Jen. And in addition, as this prayer goes out, kind of emanating away from Asclepios, the 3 of them see like runic carvings, almost like stamped straight into the metal, appear up their forearms, kind of glowing a soft red color. And then as a bonus, he is going to clench his fist behind his shield, and as he does so, there's a small band of different colored metal on his ring finger that begins to glow that same red color, and a small tether shoots out from behind his shield and connects with Fig. I'm going to activate as a bonus action my Rings of Shared Suffering. So if Fig takes damage, he will only take half, and I take the remaining.
All right, and who got the bless?
Jen, Fig, and Evie.
Okay.
They were the ones that were closed. Oh no, Fig wasn't closed with it yet. That's fine, yeah.
All right. There, while you're still in this stance, Evie, there's a tremendous rush of wind over your head as the dragon tail sweeps by. Oh wait, no, it doesn't have a 40-foot tail. I can't reach. I forgot it's 40 feet in the air, so it can't make a tail attack. Imagine a dragon with a 40-foot tail. Yeah, no. So it's not going to do that. It is going to be Jin's turn.
Jake, I'm not Cantriel tonight. Don't tempt me.
So this floating orb, since I'm a ways back, is a ways away from me, right?
Yeah, you're about 20 feet away from it.
Okay. I will pull my longbow from my back, and as a bonus action, I will turn the next 2 shots that I make with this into Kensei's shots. And I will loose a pair of arrows at this dragon.
All right.
Gotta remember that.
Fire
D4.
away.
We are looking at 25 on the first attack roll.
Yep, that's a hit.
And then a crit on the second attack roll.
A hit and a crit?
Which I like. Let's see. Damage is going to be, crits are What
Max
again?
crits are max damage, then roll damage dice on top of that.
Just the dice?
Yep.
Okay. So it's going to be 2 of these dice. And this one. Actually, 2 of these. I get to add a d4 to each of those. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I gotta just factor that. Okay. All right. Fun math time. Gotta love it. Okay. So for the crit, I did max damage would be 8 plus 6 plus 4, so 18 plus 8, so 26, and then an additional 3, 9 plus 6.
15.
Yes. So those 2 numbers added together, because I totally forgot the first number.
It's like 41 points of damage.
Awesome.
As your arrows find their mark and knock several copper scales loose, and more of this arcane, it looks like light, but it leaks like a liquid, along with more gears and bits of metal begin to rain down from this dragon that hovers 40 feet above you.
I would like to, as well, turn the crit into a death strike with a key point. So it's an extra 6 plus 1, so extra 7 points of damage.
All right.
I think that's all I can do. So I will move a little further back and try and put myself, if there's a bookshelf I can reach nearby.
You had already moved 20 feet forward, so it's another 20 feet to get to the stacks on your side.
Okay. I will kind of take cover behind one of the bookshelves and just get ready to peek back out. But that is the end of my turn.
All right.
Hey, Jake, I think I got skipped.
Nope, you're up next.
Nope. Oh, okay.
Quick question, because you probably know this right off the bat, Dan. Ending concentration on a spell, can that happen at any time?
Yeah, anytime, not even on your turn.
Okay.
No action, nothing.
Okay. Carry on. It is your turn.
So that glowing ball of light, was there any indication that it was created by a spell? The dragon was like chanting.
The dragon summoned a spell book and an incantation, and then the book turned into the glowing light.
Right. Yeah. So that sounds pretty spell-like to me. I'm going to cast a spell magic on it because screw all of that noise.
Okay.
So I guess Phalos kind of activates his little flying boots to brace himself against the blast of wind when the dragon takes off and doesn't get bowled over by everyone. Looks at that thing and points the sort of the protector arm cannon he has at it, presses on the back of it, and there's a pulse ripple in the air like an EMP. So I will try and dispel it.
All right, it is greater than a 3rd level spell, so you will...
I have a feeling it's somewhere around about 7 or 8.
Yep, roll me a
what am I doing? An intelligence check.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I don't like you and you don't like me, but let's not screw that. Oh, that's not what we're doing. Burning a domain die. Thank you. Let me check. God, it's like it's been a few weeks since I played or something. I don't remember how to navigate this stuff. Ability check. All right, so my total is a 16, but I'm going to burn my last charge of Flash of Genius to bump that up to a 21.
It's a good thing you did. Because a 16 was not enough.
Yeah.
But a 21 is, as this glowing orb goes, and just before it just sort of dissipates, you see what looks like a contained massive explosion in a tiny space go, and it's gone.
Not today. And then as a bonus action, I will activate my protector. Is there anybody within 10 feet of me?
I believe Asclepios, Evie, Fig, and Bark are all nearby. Only the Clockwork Owlbear and Jin have sort of left that central area.
All right, so everybody within 10 feet of me gains 11 temporary hit points. So that'll replace any you have if you take it. You don't add them. Sort of greenish blue force bubble projects out, puts little shields around them. And I'm done.
I think after the explosion, I don't think anybody had any of your previous temporary hit points, so.
So we are at the top of the order, but first the lair action is going to kick into place as all of you feel yourself sinking down into the ground about 2 feet, at least 2 to 3 feet, as all of the tiles on the floor begin to rip and tear, and you realize that the entire floor of this library has shifted from this checkerboard marbled tile pattern to nothing but parchment. It is now difficult terrain, and you're in about 2 to 3 feet of paper, thick coils of paper that almost seem to grab at you. So yeah, movement is halved in this difficult terrain. Evie, it's your turn.
All right. Arm is going to shift from scimitar into, if they can figure out what to do with longbow, cool. It's going to shape itself into the longbow and with the opposite hand.
Sure.
Draw back, and I go to kill it, sir. No, I hope so, but we'll see. Wishful thinking. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's going to be a 23 to hit.
A 23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not giving you that one, Zach. Scimitar worked. Long
right.
barm, no.
Yes, because with the blast.
Long barm works.
All right, I
That's
gave you
9 piercing.
9 piercing. Okay, I gave you displacer bees. You can have long barm.
Long barm.
Was that 9 piercing? You said?
Yes, total 9.
Okay.
And there was no one around that I could get the ranged on.
The
sneak
dragon's
attack, right?
40 feet up, so there's no.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Allies near it.
Yeah, that's it for me then.
Bark, it is your turn.
So noting the parchment, that we've sunken into, if I'd wanted to be planted, I would prefer it to be dirt. And I will call another blast of lightning down upon him. That's a dex save for him.
All right. Let's see. Copper D20. Dex save is going to be 24.
You want to re-roll that?
Absolutely. It is now an 11.
All right. That is significantly better. So 30 points of lightning damage.
All right.
I will, since he is flying in the air and the owlbear really can't do anything, my form, I'll take on that starry form again, and I will attempt to blast him with the light energy. That is a dirty 20.
That is a miss.
Okay. All right, I am being called for to roll again. That was a 28. I hope that hits.
A 28 will hit.
All right, good. All right, so 2d8 plus 5.
Domain dice unused are useless domain dice.
So that's going to be 14 points of radiant damage in my
All
archer form.
14 points of radiant damage. All right. Let's see. The dragon hovering up above is looking down on all of you, and two of you have caused it the most trouble. All right, so we're going to roll a d6. Even, it's Evie. Odd, it's Bark. You hear from the dragon.
Duis auto error reprehendretin voloptred.
And something begins to assault your senses, Evie. And I need you to make an intelligence saving throw. That's
Use a domain die.
And don't forget you're blessed. You get a D4.
Yeah, that was gonna be no more than a 4.
I'm
And a
sure.
+2.
Okay, hold on. Okay, that's so that we can work with. And that is going to now be a dirty 20
all right. Let me see what happens on
as
this.
opposed to 4. Please.
Okay, so the full effect of this mental
Why can't
assault.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anyone again.
Can you hear me now? Is she just doing this so she doesn't hear have to hear how much damage I give her?
Hi, now I can hear you.
So the full effect of the spell, you actually are able to resist, but you will still take 5 psychic damage. That's nothing. You will take 5d10 psychic damage.
I am.
That's on a save.
Okay.
Where's 1, 2, 3, 4? Which one am I missing? Come on, give me another d10. And here we go. That's going to be 10, 20, 30, 37, 45 psychic damage as he casts this spell, the words just become bore into your brain until they fill your head and you almost completely lose your vision before you snap out of it, but you still take 45 points of psychic damage. As it
35
attempts,
out of 50. That's a pretty damn good roll there, sir.
as it attempts to, it was 10, 10, 10, 9, 7.
Uh-oh.
That's 46, actually, not 45, but we won't sweat that 1 point. It attempted to put you into a mental prison. But it failed. That is the end of its turn because it cast a spell. It is Archimedes' turn. I gotta check something on Archimedes because I've not used her in a while. I need to see what... Okay, she has... Oh, see, I should have scrolled upwards. See, the dragon is 40 feet up. You know what? This is definitely something Archimedes would do. Archimedes just looks over at you, Fig, and says, "Make this right." And then you watch as an arcane doorway opens in front of her and vanishes. And you see a flash of light at the back of the dragon as you see that Archimedes has dimension doored up onto the dragon. Let's see. And since she cast a spell, that's all she can do. Somebody roll me a d20, and we'll add a +4 to that for Archimedes. Actually, yeah, +4.
10 with the +4.
Okay. All right, we'll hold on to that. That was her dexterity saving throw to hold on to the dragon. So we'll see how that plays out. As we move on to Fig.
Well, Fig was going to cast Fireball, but though this thing is gargantuan, so...
And she's on the back of it, and it's 40 feet in the air.
Yeah, he can fireball it safely. Safe fireball. So he's going to, he outstretches his arm and it's going to kick off a fireball. It's
okay.
Like a dex saving throw.
11.
Ooh. Excellent. That is going to do 30 points of fire damage.
Your fire explodes, your fireball explodes sort of in front of, on the frontal part of this dragon, and the flames cascade around it, and you watch as the fire catches, this time burning its way through a lot of the parchments on its back, making up its wings. And you see Archimedes momentarily silhouetted by the flames as it takes 60 points of fire damage. So, I'll tell you guys later. Yeah. What else? Anything else you want to do there, Fig? And
I don't. That's his turn.
And it's on fire, yes? Or that was the immolation one that left it on fire?
Well, I mean,
technically, yeah, because of the...
It ignites flammable objects.
This is interesting.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like the immolation one, so...
Interesting. Okay. Asclepios.
Okay, so does this thing look like it has the capability of biting and or potentially swallowing creatures? Does it have like an opening for a throat kind of thing?
I mean, it has a mouth, but you also know that it's a clockwork. So you don't know the... well, I'll put it to you this way, because you are also a clockwork.
Right.
You don't have an esophagus. You don't have a digestive system.
I'm not getting into that way.
I'm glad you chose that end of the dragon to start with, then.
We haven't even been on a date yet, Jake.
Hey, Shawshank his way to the heart.
Hey, I figured it was the fastest way, probably. Well, I can't do much to him from here. So how tall are these bookshelves?
The bookshelves are on the sides. They look to be about 60 feet tall.
Okay, so I'm going to move over to one of the bookshelves that is closer to this dragon, and I'm going to start climbing.
What's your movement speed?
I think it's 30.
You're gonna...
It is 30 feet. So I will dash.
So if you dash, it'll take 40 feet of your 60 feet of movement to get to the bookshelf. And then half of the remaining will get you that far up. It'll take you...
Yeah.
You'll move 10 feet up the stacks, basically.
Okay.
As you're climbing. Okay. Jin.
So Asclepius was attempting to climb
wait a
up
minute. Correction. Because the floor is parchment, is difficult terrain. So it would cost you all of your movement to get within 10 feet of the bookshelf if you chose to do that.
Well, damn it. In that case, I think instead, I'm just going to ready an action. I guess move out in front of where most of the rest of the group is to be kind of like a front line, and ready my flail of warning, letting it kind of snake out, and holding my shield aloft towards this creature, just waiting for it to come within reach.
All right. Before you go, you watch as the dragon begins beating its wings. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw. I'm going to have you re-roll for Archimedes, M.
Do I need to because I am behind the bookshelf?
No.
Cool.
Okay. What you got?
19.
21 and a domain die.
18 after a domain die, and a guaranteed fail for the owlbear.
Okay.
I rolled a nat 20 for a 23 total.
Okay. Fig?
Fig got a 14. And then Archimedes got a 19.
Okay. Archimedes succeeds in holding on to the back of the dragon. The rest of you, except for Asclepios, fail the dex save. You are once again knocked prone as the wings begin beating with its wing attack. All of you that are knocked prone also take 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
Is it just the people that were not prone?
Yes.
Okay, so Fig, you only take half of that, and I take the rest of it.
And also, this entire area is now heavily obscured as the floor, the parchment has been kicked up, but you all hear and feel as the dragon, in the process of beating its wings, has landed somewhere in this maelstrom. All attacks will be at disadvantage. All attacks that rely on sight will be at disadvantage going forward. That was its legendary action. Jin, it is now your turn.
Can I take my ready action?
Oh, yes.
Good. Okay, cool. I will then...
I will say that the owlbear kind of is not much of a floor, but collapses on a heap of gears that begin to dissipate until it's down to like a single block of gears, like what Bark had pulled out of the bag. Domain die, Jeremy.
You said they're at disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use a domain die because I'm not going to let the one ride.
You have 165 plus domain dice. Don't let anyone's ride.
You robbed me of a 20, Jacob Noorman. That's a 14 to hit. I don't think that's going to do it.
That is not going to hit.
You could still roll.
Yeah,
we've got the dice.
You can keep rolling.
Okay. All right, one more, and that's it.
I guess it's a no.
An 11.
Okay. Then once again, Jin.
Look, I know I rolled a 1 on my initiative, but you don't have to keep pushing me back. No. So it's on the ground, we think. But there is an upper level, right? Like a balcony kind of thing?
There is not.
There isn't. Is there... Like, how high up are these bookshelves?
60 feet.
60 feet. That's very high for a bookshelf.
The ceiling's over 100 feet.
Yeah, no. This is huge. I'm quick. I was what, 45-ish feet away?
You were over in the stacks, 40 feet away from the dragon.
All right, and it's difficult terrain all around?
It is.
I will use a key point to step of the wind and dash as a bonus action, and then wade through this paper floor with my movement speed of 90.
Wow.
Halved to 45.
I just imagine Jin dashing through this sudden, and you just see parchment everywhere.
Yeah, it's just it's like a dust trail. Each step just exactly. And as I come close,
piece of folded paper.
Yeah, I run up a very long scroll, hop off that, and as I hop off that, I withdraw the katana, and it sparks and ignites with fire as I will attempt to attack this thing at disadvantage. Actually, oh wait, is that a bonus action? It is a bonus action. Okay, I'll just make the attacks at disadvantage then.
Okay.
Coming at him with 2 katana attacks, longsword attacks. It's a domain die. A little better. How is a dirty 20?
That is still a miss.
Oh, man. All right, that's the first attack. Use a domain die. Another dirty 20. I'm going to use one more domain die. Let's see what happens. So that's a critical failure.
Critical failures when you're in close proximity. Open yourself up to an opportunity attack.
Shouldn't have jumped off that scroll.
However, the dragon is also at disadvantage because of the visibility. It's going to attempt to bite you at disadvantage. That is going to be
blind sight on this dragon.
Oh, that's right.
Same team.
You're all welcome.
Same team.
It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter because even with the lowest, I rolled a 10, so that's still a 25 to hit. So you will take.
I don't want to confront the reality of that data.
You take 12 piercing damage as it.
Tell me the attack bonus.
As it bites you.
Is this poison damage?
No, it's just a bite.
Can it be poison? I happen to be resistant to poison. Nah. All right.
Are you resistant to metal dragon's teeth?
Yeah, it's right there next to poison.
Is that the end of your turn? I believe it is.
Bonus movement. I am terrified as a, I think, free action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phelos.
Yeah. So about how far away was the dragon? I know it kicked up a cloud, but I'm going to assume it dropped relatively straight down. How far away was it from me, from where it was like flying?
You can get a sense that it's going to be relatively close to you, somewhere within 15 or 20 feet.
Oh God, that's terrible. All right. So I guess Phelos holds out his hand, and the panels, the metal panels of his palm, sort of articulate up into a brass sphere that he clicks, and it starts to chime, high pitched, and he just sort of chucks it underhand through the blizzard of papers, kind of 20-ish feet ahead, and then say 5 or 10 feet to the left, just to try and not put this shatter anywhere near where Jin was running around.
Okay.
So that's a Constitution save, please, from Monsieur Dragon.
All right, I do. Let's see. Con save is going to be a 33. I need you to roll me a D100.
$53.
I rolled a 40. There was,
okay.
So that's within the range. So Archimedes, I need you to roll a con save for Archimedes.
Yeah, I forgot about Archimedes. Oops.
So roll a D20 and add 4.
I'm gonna use a domain die.
Sure.
That was a 2. 17.
That doesn't beat your DC.
DC's 18.
Right. So roll shatter damage.
So the ball kind of goes bouncing off into the blizzard, chiming, and then the chime stops and boom for 10 points of thunder damage.
All right. So.
Oh, hey, creatures made of inorganic stuff have disadvantage on their saving throw against shatter. So, no difference for Archimedes, but.
See, same team.
All right. Well, so re-rolling for the disadvantage, that 33 turns into a, where did it go? 16.
Hey, takes the full 10. Hooray.
I rolled a 2.
Hooray! I'm so happy. I will remember to mark off my spell slot, and then I will use a bonus action to create the protector shield again. So anybody within 10 feet of me gains 10 temporary hit points. And I'm done.
Did you move at all this turn?
Negative.
All right, so I guess I'm still in range.
Yeah, are you up by the dragon then? Am I within 10 feet? No, you're away.
No, I haven't moved, so I'm still 20-ish feet away from
Okay.
you.
All right.
All of you feel the ground shift beneath your feet, and you sort of, as papers seem to solidify under your feet, you are lifted up as the floor is no longer made of paper. There's still quite a lot of paper that is falling down. It's no longer considered heavily obscured. However, I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw as the entire library shifts 90 degrees. gravity is shifting more to the point. So I need a dexterity saving throw from everyone.
Mark's got a 21.
We still have bless, right?
16 for Phalos.
24 for Eve.
With burning domain die, I am so sorry, everybody. That's a 7.
Why?
Oops.
No need for sorry.
I used 2 domain dice to get myself up to 22.
I got a dirty 20.
All right. Who got below? Who got below an 18? An 18, below an 18. 17 or below.
I was really close, Jake, but I failed.
If you got 17 or below, you failed, and you are falling 40 feet into the stacks. And then you are falling another 20 feet. Well, actually, you're going to make another dex save to see if you fall the other 20 feet. If you saved, you slid along the floor until you were able to catch the edge of the top of one of those bookshelves, or the side, I should say. So that's falling. Say again?
Is Fig...
Asclepios is falling. Anybody else? No? All right, so I guess it's just Asclepios and Phalos. As we start to fall, a little panel on Phalos' shoulder pops open and fires a little spinning iron lodestone that clicks onto you, and there's this vibrating crackle as a magnetic field starts to slow your fall. I feather fall us.
Oh, okay. Well,
wonderful description there, Dan.
I love that. Did you roll for Archimedes? M?
I did not, because oh yeah. Oh boy, that I'm going to use a domain die because we have so many. That is a 19.
Okay, so that's good. So Archimedes is still on the back of the dragon. Everybody else is now... The dragon is actually still standing on what is now the wall. Perpendicular to all of you who are now standing on stacks. These bookshelves are 10 feet wide under your feet and 60 feet long, with 10 or 20 feet of space between them. So you've all sort of fallen onto 2 of these or descended down onto them. It's a 20-foot drop to the new floor. As the room is now, the gravity has been shifted in this room. And Evie, it is your turn.
All right, so dragon's like what, 40-ish feet away, 60 feet?
Dragon is now 40 feet away, technically on the wall.
Technically on the wall. I think I'm going to be using the long arm again. And Archimedes still on there?
Archimedes is on the back.
Oh, that means that I get lovely sneak attack going.
Oh, it does. Yeah, actually, yeah.
So, yes, this is going to get much more fun. All right, let me... Okay, that's 23 to hit.
That is a hit.
Yes! And then I got full on the D8 plus 7, so that is 15 piercing. And now for the sneak attack. Yes. Lovely sound. And I love my dice. 18. 28, 32 from sneak attack.
Wow.
Well, because I used the Muse dice. I saw a lot of my logo.
I'll need you to submit those for weigh-in.
No,
I'm just kidding.
You have some. You know those things roll damn
I don't have
well.
Any.
You do?
I do not.
No?
Nope.
Didn't I send them to you? Oh, I need to send some to you then.
I would gladly show those off. Is that the end of your turn?
I hide.
Hide in plain sight.
Can I like duck behind the shelf area?
You're standing on the shelf area.
The
So
shelves
there's
are
no,
not
like,
the floor, right?
What were the
Space.
shelves? So if this is where the books are, you're now here on the end. The books are below you, so you could drop down in between the stacks, sort of climb down.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah,
I could
you
do
can
that.
absolutely do that.
Yeah, I will do that to hide.
Give me a stealth check, just because.
Okay. Because, I got a 12 on that one. I feel perfectly good about this. Yeah, that's going to be a 21.
Okay. You may or may not be hidden. Bark.
All right, so first things first, I still have my lightning cloud going, so I will call down another bolt of lightning. That was a dex save for the dragon.
All right, that's going to be a 24.
24. How about a reroll?
That is now a 25.
Oh, lovely. All right, so I do 38, so half that is 19 in lightning. I used, well, first off, am I able to get 10 foot closer to this thing, or does that require crazy movement?
There's, unless you can fly.
I cannot fly. All right.
Is your call lightning single target? I forget.
It's an area.
Em, you want to roll a dex save for Archimedes?
It's a small area. It's like 5 foot radius, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
The
never mind.
dragon's 20
I mean, it's a gargantuan dragon. Yeah, you can
Right.
miss Archimedes then.
So then I got nothing to do with my bonus action if I can't get closer.
All of you, by this time, can't help but notice that there are lots of copper scales are missing. Much of the parchment and books that made up its wings have burned away. There's scorched remains of books that still sort of drape across its back. Archimedes is holding on to the crest at the back of its neck, looking like she's getting ready to do something. And the scales in places, they're just falling. Gears and this arcane liquid are dripping down around you. This dragon is in bad shape, but not so bad a shape that it can't cast another spell. Ad minimum veniam quis nostrad excursitation. And you watch as it opens its mouth and 8 multicolored rays of light shoot out from its mouth at all of you, including you, Evie, down in the stacks. It had a 33 on its perception check. So I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws. I gotta see what his dex save is.
I hate those words right now, Jake.
Dexterity saving throw?
Oh. Cringe.
Got an 18.
23.
Domain die 16.
Okay, domain die.
Second
Whoops.
domain die for me, please.
That's a
But
Alright,
that
hold on.
brought
21
me
side.
to an-
Hold on 1 second. 155 becomes 150. Okay. All right. Any other domain dice usages? I got yours, and I got
Yeah.
Dan's.
Mine too.
All right. One from Fig.
Yep. And with the domain die, that's a 10.
All right.
Oh no.
Anybody get a 19 or higher? Okay. Eve is the only one
18.
that saved against this. Okay. So, starting with Jin.
Wait, I didn't save against this with a 23?
Yeah.
I didn't see your hand go up when I asked if anybody had higher.
No, I was being an idiot.
Oh no. Well, then Phalos, you get the 8 that I just rolled, which means you're getting hit with 2 rays.
Oh no.
So you're going to get hit with a yellow ray.
So do I need to make a second saving throw?
Each ray is a different color, has a different purpose. Each target in 6 foot must make a dexterity saving throw. No, I essentially had you make the dex save for the effects all at once. So you're getting hit by lightning, followed immediately by fire. So I need to roll. You know what? I'm using D&D Beyond because I'm not rolling 20 d6. So you are going to take 10 d6 of lightning. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You take 38 points of lightning damage as this yellow, and it's yellow lightning damage as it arcs into you. And then you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You take 41 points of fire damage. So that's 1. Let's see. Evie, you saved. Fig, you did not save. All right. I should actually have you do this, Fig. Roll a d8.
But why? Oh, good. That's an 8. Love that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of course.
So roll a d8 again.
Oh, no. 2.
Okay, and one more time.
Another 2.
Okay. So I'm gonna circle back to this one for a very specific reason. As we go on to Fig, or no, sorry, Bark. What did you get? Did you save?
I did not save.
Okay, and then Asclepios, I think you failed as well. So I need each of you to roll a d8.
I rolled a 7.
I got a 1. Nope.
Bark.
It's a 4.
Bark, you are blinded as violet light shoots straight into your eyes. And what did you get, Jeremy?
It was a 4.
The green light that targets you, that hits you. Do you have any saves against poison?
I might.
We're all resistant.
Yeah, I was gonna say being
And have advantage on
clockworks.
saving
So
throws
go
against
ahead.
being
You
poisoned.
can make the save one more time. It's a DC 19 dex save.
Ooh, that's an 18 on the die plus 3. That's 21.
Okay, so you're going to take half of the 10d6 poison damage.
And then resistant on top of that. Nice.
Yep.
So you'll take 1/4 of this.
That I can handle.
So you're going to take.
I'm going to take half of Figs.
You're going to take. It's 24 total damage, so you're going to take 6 points of poison damage as this green light hits you. Fig. The whole time that Archimedes has been on the back of this dragon, she has taken no action. She's just held on. As this spell is cast, you notice that she has rapidly begun moving, like swinging her body. And all of a sudden she vaults, just grabbing hold of its head. She sort of vaults over, sliding across and grabbing onto essentially its copper nostrils. As these rays of light are shooting outward, the beam of light that was destined to strike you, which was an orange light, instead she pushes down right in front of it and takes the entirety of that acid damage on herself. Whoops. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. She's going to take 42 points of acid damage. As this acid, acid strikes into Archimedes, some of this acid is dripping around all of you. And you watch as it's not just acid, it's molten pieces or dissolved pieces of Archimedes as her entire lower torso breaks free and falls past you. Her upper half of her body is still hanging on to the front of this dragon. It is Archimedes' turn. She lets go with one hand and turns to look at you, Fig, and she just points down at you and says, "You owe me." And you see arcane energy glow as she shoots a chaos bolt into the mouth of this. Make me a disadvantage attack roll, M, on behalf of Archimedes.
Right. So I rolled a 9 on the die with disadvantage.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wait. No, she already did the chaos bolt. Sorry, this spell's not a it's a dex save on my behalf. It's not a spell save. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So it's not a chaos bolt. You don't have to roll. I have to roll. Her spell save DC is 14. The Copper Dragon has rolled a dirty 20. I can't make the call. Only you can make the call. If you want to use domain dice. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to, but I'm not using your domain dice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops.
I feel like this, should be a good, so we'll try it again.
I re-rolled a 5. Which makes the dex save a 13. Which is one under the 14 needed.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll me 3d8 for Agonazar's Scorcher.
Uh, 13.
And Fig, it is your turn.
Yeah, after seeing that, Fig is going to try and light this thing up again with another fireball. The final. A big fireball. So he has to make a dex save.
Okay. It's a 25.
Reroll that.
It's a 13. Went from a 17 to a 5. 49.
All right.
How big is this
That is
fireball?
50 points of fire damage as I cast it at my one and only 6th level spell slot.
And as we have learned, There we go. As we have learned, this dragon is vulnerable to fire damage, which means you have just done 100 points of fire damage to both the dragon, and you've actually finished off Archimedes with this blast. How do you want to do this?
So I imagine that Fig, he sees this. He sees what's happening. This dragon has been a huge adversary, and he, I think, in a moment is filled with that almost a lust for knowledge and wanting to know, wanting to finish what is happening, and so finish what the story, what he knows, fill in any of the missing pieces. And with that knowledge, you see that he almost drains all of that arcane blue liquid running through the tubes in his body. He drains them all almost like into his hand as this giant ball of fire begins to form, and it's not red and orange like it usually is with his like igniting matches. This is pure blue, this arcane magic fire, and it shoots across, and in this brilliant display of fire, it ignites and explodes upon the dragon, and it hits only the one side of the dragon, but soon all of its wings, its limbs, its head made of scrolls and books are ignited in this blue arcane fire as it shrivels up and dissolves, and all that's left are smoldering fire-laden pieces of paper falling around us. And as Fig was casting this, at the last moment, he looks at Archimedes, but he can't meet her gaze for very long, and he looks away.
As one of these flaming pieces of paper falls past your vision, falls right in front of you, it blocks your view of Archimedes. And as it passes by, it's a wipe. You're standing in the library. It is completely intact. It is upright. You see Jin, Phalos, Evie, Bark, Asclepios. You also see Hermes and dozens of other clockworks lined up along the walls, deactivated or not yet activated. You are standing at the front of the library, which is a large circular area. There are sketches upon sketches and drawings upon drawings lining the walls and the floors, and a single piece of parchment has just gone and caught fire. And you hear Copernicus's voice as he says, "Oh, that's not what I intended to do." But you also realize it's your voice. It's your voice in a different form. The voice is deeper, more resonant. You also notice that it's your voice with breath behind it. It's your voice as oxygen is pushing up, or air is pushing up from your lungs, pushing past vocal cords and creating this voice. You also know that your viewpoint, the reason you can see so much around the library, is because you are looking from a viewpoint about 20 feet up in the air. As you move your full copper draconic body, shifting your weight around the laboratory, looking at all of your drawings, you see in the center of the room 3 other clockworks. Like all of the ones along the sides, they're empty shells. No spark of life. In many cases, they're just artistically created statues. There's nothing to give them life, nothing to move them yet. But the 3 in the middle are the forms of figure 1 Copernicus, figure 2 Prometheus, and figure 3 Archimedes. As the piece of parchment flutters down, you reach out a clawed hand, and you see as your hand shifts and your point of view drops down to a standard 6 feet of height viewpoint, and you now in a slightly coppery looking human hand hold this piece of parchment. You hear a woman's voice behind you say, "You're going to have to be much more careful. If this works the way it's supposed to, there can be no mistakes." You turn and you see the Lady Vantage walking forward. She places her hand on your shoulder. "This is what must be done. It is the only way forward." You look at her, and you hear your voice again, but as Copernicus, as the living being Copernicus. "Yes, I know what needs to be done." There's a shift in perspective. The laboratory has shifted so that all of the other clockworks are gone. It is only the empty shells of Copernicus, Prometheus, and Archimedes. And on the 4th table, you see it's up at about almost a 90-degree angle, tilted slightly back. You are strapped in as the Lady Vantage stands at the feet of the other 3 figures. And as she does so, she begins chanting, "Laborem estid anum mollet deserunt od ficia qui culpa in sunt proident non copedat." And she continues chanting, and as she does so, her voice grows deeper and deeper. "Pariatur nulla fugiat," as she begins to form into her full bronze dragon form, casting this ritualistic spell. Books are spread out on the library shelves, seeming to levitate of their own accord, as arcane energy begins arcing through all of these books in this ritual that you and the Lady Vantage designed together. As the magical energy of this separation of your life force begins to course through your body, you feel yourself lifted out of your humanoid body, and you are able to basically perceive in full 360 degrees all around, as you are no longer bound by your physical body. You see the entirety of the library in Vantage casting this ritual. You see the mechanical forms below you, and you see a 6-foot-tall, copper-skinned human man who looks to be in his mid-40s. Lifeless, your body in this strapped to this bench. And then you feel everything at once. You feel every emotion, every bit of pain, anguish, everything hits you all at once, as your very essence of your being is ripped into 3 pieces. You are ripped into your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Your spirit settles into the form of figure 3 Archimedes. Your heart settles into the form of figure 1 Copernicus. Your mind settles into the form of figure 2 Prometheus. There's another time shift, and you see bits and pieces of things you've remembered already working together in the laboratory with your form. This time, though, you know fully what that missing piece is, that all 3 of you were now working together as 3 separate entities, but you worked so well together initially because you were all 3 parts of the same whole. But the missing piece was that the Lady Vantage was there the whole time, and she seemed to favor, above all, she seemed to linger and hold on to Copernicus, the piece that had the heart. You see, as Archimedes, you feel that anger and that no longer tethered by the mind and the heart. You see that wild spirit that steals away in the night with over 50 of the clockworks with the intent to wreak havoc on the world. You see yourself as Prometheus instructing Copernicus and several of the others here, Evie, Jin, Phalos, Bark, and Asclepios, to assist in the creation of this false underwater laboratory, what is essentially an aquarium diorama off of one side of the library, where you are to be stripped of your memories and knowledge. You are given a scant few, still precious number of books, but this is just a microcosm of what you would have experienced otherwise in this library, as you are put into this simulated underwater laboratory for an indeterminate period of time. And you feel that coldness and that darkness as you are separated. Your mind and your spirit have now been separated from your heart. The connection grows tenuous at this point as you struggle to remember this last bit of the final step of the plan and the separation of your 3 entities. That the Lady Vantage takes Copernicus, removes his mind gem. You watch as she opens up, before she opens up his head by the same manner as yours, as the mechanical form seems to smile, and it's still you know that. You feel that love for that remaining bits of love for Lady Vantage, and just nod. She opens up and takes the mind gem, and the form of Copernicus is left still and lifeless. You see her hand turn draconic as she transforms into her full draconic form. With her other hand, she takes a taloned claw and she rips open a section of scales on her chest where her heart is. She places this gem inside next to her heart, and she closes down the scales and magically seals the wound. And the last thing you see as the memory begins to fade is as she packages up, carefully wraps up the form of Copernicus and leaves the library. You are all standing in the library that, in the aftermath of the destruction of the clockwork dragon, has righted itself. Some of you have tumbled into disarray, into a jumbled heap. The copper dragon is nothing but burnt books and parchment and slagged copper. Somewhere mixed into that, though you cannot find any specific remnant, you know Archimedes is in there somewhere, or what was Archimedes. Because, Fig, you know that Archimedes is your spirit. And you possess the mind, and you possess the spirit. You are missing only the heart. You know that you know what you have to do. You know now where the heart gem lies. You also know that all of this was what you created all of these clockworks for. They were all part of this grand plan. You know that in order to carry on and continue on, you will have to leave all of these clockwork entities behind. You know how the fortress works now. And you know that you can take it just as you and Lady Vantage planned over 200 years ago. You can take the fortress back to the plain or back above ground and exactly where your allies are. Use it to return back to them and send the placeholder, as you and Vantage referred to them, because you didn't know Gerithan's identity. You didn't know who that placeholder would be. You just knew that at some point in the future, there would be somebody that would be maneuvered into a position to help you. You essentially can control this teleportation of the tower with thought, basically. But before you do so, do you have anything you'd like to say to your clockwork children?
Am I still blind?
Oh, you're not blind anymore. Sorry.
Okay.
Like, that fight was real, right? All the damage and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, nothing was imagined. Everything was real.
So Phalos is lying in a crumpled heap where the library has righted itself, with a hole burned clean through his chest and out the back, with a orange fading to dull red molten metal circle around it.
How bad is Fig damaged?
Not too bad, actually. Yeah, did not take too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then Bark will crawl over to. Jeez, I'm drawing a blank on your name, Dan. I'm sorry.
Phalos.
Phalos, thank you. And I will cast heal.
Were you just unconscious, Phalos?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was dropped to 0. I don't know how long it's been, all that good stuff. If we took damage.
No, that's fine. I didn't know if that was because you were dead.
Oh, no.
You got back 70.
All right. That all you've got? Ding, ding.
I think that Fig has been kneeling at this point, getting all of these memories, and he stands. And his stance is a little different. Still Fig, but something else, something more, a purpose. And he turns around, and I very much appreciate your help. I have to go now. I am sorry for leaving you like this. Do you have any questions?
I think Asclepios starts because there is a lot of questions that he has and realizes it's just not appropriate, that there's just too many questions, and likely Fig wouldn't even be able to answer all of them. So instead he just kind of falls to like reverent quiet.
He would look at Asclepios, or Bark would look at Asclepios and just kind of nod his avian head. I do have more healing, should you require, before you go.
That would be appreciated. And yeah, I think he's 22 points down. So I don't know.
I rolled 25.
That got me
If,
too.
if Phalos is looking for some more as well, that's a 22.
All right. Anything else, Fig?
I think Fig just nods to them, and you may now have free access to these books and whatever information you may need to help with your own journeys. There is someone here who will come and help you as well in my place. And I will return with more answers.
Jin, Phalos, Evie?
Right, nice meeting you. And she starts cleaning off her blade.
The hell just happened?
Jin just sheathes the flaming blade, which he's been holding as it burns beside him without realizing it. Standing awkwardly in the midst of all of this, still having a hard time processing everything. He just sheathes the blade, goes back into the kneel, and sits there.
So
Jake, how much, if anything, of the plan were we privy to?
everything that happened, specifically that Fig was remembering, was prior to all of you having been given the spark of life. So you wouldn't know any of the creation story, but you know now that you were specifically created as guardians of the Adamantine fortress, and specifically guardians of its owner, who, regardless of their physical form, you recognize the entity of Copernicus. Whether it goes by the name Fig, you recognize him for what he is, as your creator. How reverent you treat that is entirely up to you, because you also have free will. Fig, you also know that as you begin, I imagine just the entire form, we see outside the, well, we'll get to that in a second. You know that there is a singular book in the shelf, one of the shelves by what was the library where all of these clockworks were created, that contains a book, that book itself is enchanted, specifically was enchanted within the last 100 years by Lady Vantage to be given to Gerithan, that when you give this book to him, it will allow him to go home. We cut to outside in the large glowing cavern in the Underdark with the shattered crystal field, the dead bodies of the displacer bees. And we see, as the crystals begin to resonate with these otherworldly harmonics, and it transfers through into the Adamantine fortress itself. And as in this large cavern, we see a few lingering creatures, maybe a from the cavern, we see a single drow scout looking ahead and watching as the entire Adamantine fortress goes and vanishes. And that is where we are going to end this session. That is going to end the Adamantine Fortress arc. And next week, we will return with the Dawnbringers episode 6, season 5, episode 6, where we will actually get back to the Dawnbringers for the first time in a while. Thank you to Inanis Anima, who just gifted 4 tier 1 subs to the community. That's going to put you guys up from 149 to 153. So, whoops. Let me push the right buttons here and fix your domain dice before I forget. And thank you for gifting those subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. As always, we appreciate you. I love just seeing you in the chat. I love seeing the conversations happening. And thank you to the new subs. Thank you for the people that gifted subs, and just for being here. As always, I thank my players. This has been a special arc that we did because M left us for 3 or 4 months to do some real world adventuring. And M and I had worked out. M had no idea what was going to happen tonight, to be clear. But it was part of a grand plan that I put into place nearly 6 months ago, or more than 6 months ago, when we knew that M would be leaving us for a while. And I really like that we were able to work with this unique real world situation that kind of had a dramatic impact on the game, and everybody's willingness to take on new characters for 4 sessions to serve this story so we can see what Fig's been up to and learn more about Fig's story. Huge thank you, of course, to Zach, who has been filling in while Fig is gone. Next week will be Zach's last session with the Dawnbringers. Not necessarily forever, but for this extended period of time. So next week when we return, we can look forward to how we're going to deal with the departure of Gerithan, and the arrival of Fig, as well as we'll be dealing with the departure of Griveth as well, since Scotty is no longer able to play in the game. But yeah, as always, huge thank you to Zach, Dan, V, M, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. We're going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream now, the same way that we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Hilda.